270 doctors or scientists want Spotify to censor Joe Rogan. Should they do it? Let's talk about it. What is up, Parallel Nation? Welcome to the Parallel Economies channel. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about this situation with Joe Rogan and the 270 doctors and scientists that wrote an open letter to Spotify asking them basically to censor Joe Rogan because of the misinformation that he's sharing. If you haven't heard of this, basically what happened was Joe Rogan had, I believe it was Dr. Robert Malone that came on his show recently, and he started talking about mass formation psychosis, and basically saying that one of the reasons that people are so willing to go along with basically just whatever the government says. I'm not gonna. You can go listen to the episode. I'm not a doctor, but basically they've been kind of tricked into it by conditioning them to believe basically they have to do all these things in order to get through this pandemic, which we're never going to get through. COVID is here. It's not going away. So nothing that they've done has worked, and it's basically going to be with us for the foreseeable future. Let's just put it that way. So in response to him having Dr. Robert Malone, which, by the way, Robert Malone, shortly after being on that show, on Joe Rogan's show, Robert Malone was banned from Twitter, along with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Not only, that obviously wasn't good enough. They want to get Joe Rogan completely censored over there on Spotify. Joe Rogan actually made some news earlier this week. I think it might have been last week, where he had set up an account over on Getter, and shortly thereafter, about 1 million people followed him over to Getter. So it's an ongoing situation, but let's get into what is going on. This is actually an open letter, they're calling it, to Spotify, that these so-called doctors and scientists have written to Spotify to try to get them to shut down the Joe Rogan Experience. So that's the name of this podcast for anybody who's not a follower of Joe Rogan. So basically it's saying that he had a controversial episode featuring Dr. Robert Malone. This episode has been criticized for promoting baseless conspiracy theories, and the JRE, which is Joe Rogan Experience, has a concerning history of broadcasting misinformation, particularly regarding the pandemic. By allowing the propagation of false societal harmful assertions, Spotify is enabling its hosted media to damage public trust in scientific research and sow doubt in the credibility of data-driven guidance offered by medical professionals. The thing that bothers me here is medical professionals. Dr. Robert Malone, he is a medical professional. He has a different opinion than them, but for some reason they completely skip over the fact that this is an actual doctor. And if I'm not mistaken, he was one of the individuals who was a party to the creation of the mRNA technology that's being used in the vaccines that they're promoting. So it's odd that they would just completely overlook that, but okay. And the credibility of data-driven guidance offered by medical professionals. JRE 1757 is not the only transgression to occur on the Spotify platform, but a relevant example of the platform's failure to mitigate the damage it is causing. We are a coalition of scientists, medical professionals, professors, and science communicators spanning a wide range of fields such as microbiology, immunology, epidemiology, and neuroscience, and we are calling on Spotify to take action against the mass information events which continue to occur on its platforms. With an estimated 11 million listeners per episode, JRE is the world's largest podcast and has tremendous influence. Though Spotify has a responsibility to mitigate the spread of misinformation on its platform, the company presently has no misinformation policy. All right, so as you can see, they're trying to get Spotify to censor Joe Rogan. As soon as they wrote this letter, they were of course backed up by the their buddies in the media. Here's one from, this is The Guardian, menace to public health. 270 doctors criticize Spotify over Joe Rogan's podcast. Now that headline in itself is misleading. That you might even call that misinformation, if there is such a thing. Because I was watching an episode, somebody else's show, I can't remember which one, but they actually went through and looked at all these people, and nurse practitioner, that is not a doctor. A very important job, but that's not, It's not a doctor. Assistant professor of pediatrics, maybe a doctor, probably doctor. But you get down here, you're gonna see like grad student, like registered nurse. Doesn't sound like a doctor. Family nurse, practitioner, veterinarian. What the? That's not even like that's an associate veterinarian. What the heck? Dentist. Okay, doctor, I guess. But there, if you keep going through here, you're gonna see. Oh, writer researcher, Johns Hopkins. What? This doesn't even say what doctorate this person has. Just Eastern Michigan University. Nurse practitioner again. Postdoctoral fellow. Okay. Marriage and family therapist. What does this have to do with COVID-19 and misinformation? Registered nurse, family physician, assistant professor. Assistant professor? Okay, I mean, master's student. Look at this. This is nuts. Okay, so they got master's students on this list. You keep going down. There's more master's students. This one, okay, just PhD. Okay, there's more students in here. Research nurse. Okay, biochemist. All right, but anyway. This is a sham, to be honest. It's ridiculous. And of course, their buddies in the media. 270 doctors. Let's just discount the fact that there was medical students, nurses, a family counselor, and somebody's veterinarian is in here. Okay. And then over here, Rolling Stone, a menace to public health. Doctors demand Spotify puts an end to COVID lies on Joe Rogan Experience. 270 scientists. Now they're all scientists, okay? They're not just doctors, they're scientists now. They call on Spotify to take action over dangerous misinformation on the Joe Rogan podcast. And of course, Joe Rogan under fire as doctors urge Spotify to stop dangerous COVID misinformation. Now, if you saw my article about Marjorie Taylor Greene being banned from Twitter, you'll know that, in my opinion, I don't have a problem with the bans. I think it sucks. For Marjorie Taylor Greene because she can't reach some people that she used to reach on Twitter. But the fact of the matter, at least in my opinion, is that she's going to be able, especially now that we have platforms that people can go to, once they're banned by these traditional social media platforms. In my opinion, it's actually a net gain for the parallel economy, for the platforms that these people are currently on, the traditional social media platforms, to go ahead and ban them. I think it's stupid. I personally, I don't wish any ill will upon Joe Rogan. He's a adult. He can handle himself, of course. So I'm sure he's got this under control. But I don't want him to be banned. But if they're gonna do it, I mean, you hear Dan Bongino talk about this. He says, I want you to ban me. Go ahead, YouTube, do it. I want you to ban me. Go ahead, ban me, censor me. Because the thing about it is, and I talked about this in my article, when you ban somebody from these platforms, those people have followers, and those followers are going to follow them over to these platforms. You're not really, you get them off your platform, but you're not going to silence them altogether anymore. That's not going to work anymore. Because as you saw with Joe Rogan going over to Getter, over 1 million people went there with him. Now, if you think you can just shut him off of Spotify and those people won't go over with him over there, you're mistaken. First of all, Joe Rogan, I'm pretty sure, has a pretty solid contract with Spotify. It was a pretty, I can't remember what their contract was, but it was it was a lot of money. I don't know what kind of clauses there are, like you could just fire him or censor him, but he does have a contract over there with Spotify. Secondly, he was a big deal before Spotify, before they got an exclusive deal. They brought him over onto their platform. He didn't need them. They wanted him. So you go ahead and try to censor him. He'll just leave Spotify and he'll be just fine. You think people aren't just going to go watch the Joe Rogan Experience elsewhere or listen to it elsewhere? So in my opinion, if Spotify was to go ahead and ban the Joe Rogan show, the Joe Rogan Experience, I think it'd be a good thing, at least for the parallel economy. It would suck for Joe Rogan, and it would suck for all his listeners that are trying to listen on Spotify. But in the long run, especially for these conservative-friendly platforms, these free speech platforms that are trying to gain users at this moment, trying to build their user base, I think it would be great, because you ban Joe Rogan from Spotify, he's just going to go out on his own. Ban him from Twitter, he's going to be over on Getter. All the people that used to follow him on Twitter, they're going to go right over to Getter. They're going to go over to whatever. If he ever shows up on Parler or Truth Social, they'll follow him over there. They're going to follow him. So go ahead. I say go ahead, ban them. Listen to these scientists and doctors, and go ahead, do it. I dare you. That's my take on it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.